I just got the notification.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to What Drives Us, episode 248 for October 11th, 2017. My name is Russell Frost, and I am privileged to be here and to be your host for this evening's journey into advanced technology, cars, and sustainable energy, and maybe a few other things. Who knows? But luckily for you, you don't have to hear me bullshit by myself. No, I have someone competent, someone articulate. He's even a nice guy, Mr. Mark Coughlin.
Yes, and I brought my shovel, so we're ready to go.
well, the phrase car dealer is going to come up tonight. So
it may come up. Yes, it absolutely may come up a few times. So welcome everyone to the show, and we've got some interesting topics to discuss tonight.
We do. We're gonna talk about some stuff. And if that isn't the dumbest thing I've said all day, I don't know what is. Let's start with the little feature Patrick Connor likes to call Russell's Rant, because I get to be ranty. There were two stories this week that really, really pissed me off. I'm trying to decide right now on the fly which one I want to do first. I think I'm going to go with the original order here. Electrek, let's see, on Monday, reported a story that we've talked about this over the years before, and this is not anything new, but it's still exceptionally irritating. So at the same time that companies like GM, for instance, are announcing they're going to make a whole bunch of new electric vehicles and blah, 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 and their stock takes a little blip, they're spending millions of dollars as a membership of the Alliance of Automobile Manufacturers to lobby Congress to, guess what? Yeah, roll back fuel standards, kill electric car subsidies. That's what they do. And they spend millions, not just GM, every car company on the planet.
Sounds a little two-faced, doesn't it?
Except one. And Tesla does its lobbying. Tesla's lobbying is pretty obvious. There's also the Global Automakers Group, which is a lot of the Asian companies that do the same exact thing. Again, you know, they love to wear the halo. They love to do it. And to be sure, look, Chevy makes the Volt. Chevy makes the Volt. They're both fantastic cars. Okay? Toyota's made the Prius. Nissan makes the Leaf. But all of these companies are spending money trying to get Congress to roll back the fuel standards that were already passed. Because, let's see. And I quote, the reason the Global Automakers Consortium gave to the EPA is, quote, there is simply put a misalignment between the increasing stringency of standards and the decreasing consumer demand for fuel efficiency. Are you done vomiting yet? Because I'm about ready to. Yeah, you know what? Gas is cheap right now, and guess what? Short-sighted consumers are running to buy the biggest car they can. And it'll be wonderful because I remember last time the gas went back up, all those Tahoes and Denalis and full-size Jeep Grand Cherokees that you couldn't give away at the dealership because suddenly it costs $75, $80 to fill up your gas tank. This is maddening. This is a step backward, and it's awful. Add insult to injury. I'm sorry, Mark. Go ahead. Jump in here.
I don't. It's almost like they're of two minds. Like you've got groups that, like GM, that sell electric vehicles and do a damn good job of building one, and the other side of the business is arguing we should stifle it, we should kill it, we should roll things back, we should make it tougher to sell them. Like it's terrible. It really is. Like I own a Volt. I love it. I've had two now. I'll never go back to a regular car. Never. I don't care what happens. But doesn't it irks me that they're spending their money trying to roll back the standards that benefit us all. And they sit there and push it back, or try to push it back. And I see what's happening in the U.S. right now with said leadership, and that's more of it happening. Like, it just seems that there is an attack on the EV and fuel standard community, and we're being hit by many sides now. And I don't know. I don't know where it's going to end, but man, we are being embattled as we speak.
And it goes deeper than cars. This week, Scott Pruitt, Trump's EPA administrator, if you can call it that, stood next to Mitch McConnell, who's got to be one of the most vile humans on the planet, and told them that, quote, "The war against coal is over." No. Let me inform you. Coal lost that war years ago. Okay. Coal lost the war. It's gone. It's done. It's a dead industry. And you know what? We're better for it. But again, just because apparently the Republicans, and yeah, it's the Republicans, kids, are hell-bent to do anything that Obama did, good or bad, and get rid of it, they're rolling back his clean power plan that put restrictions on and moved our power plants away from coal and towards sustainable generation. And yeah, hey, guess what utilities are going to do? They're going to keep doing whatever's cheap and easy, because then they make more money. And I don't necessarily blame them for that, but I do blame our government for being utterly unable to lead. This will kill people.
Yeah.
Quite simply, it will kill people. And that may sound hyperbolic or melodramatic. I don't give a shit. It's going to kill people. It's going to pump pollution into the sky, and it's going to kill people. And that's less important than, some coal baron being able to hang on to his way of life for another 5 years, because it's not going to last forever.
Yeah, it's depressing to hear it. Like, really, to see these, where we felt that these were advancements, that we were heading in the right direction, and to see stuff rolled back, and to see the lobbying groups continue their drumbeat of that fuel standards are much too high, that people don't want more efficient vehicles, so we should eliminate their ability to sell them. We should eliminate the models. Like, we've seen so much growth in the, and there's a story about that at the later part of the show, but there's been so much growth in that EV and fuel efficient industry. It's going to be tough to see it. If they're going to roll it back, it's going to be very depressing.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with the cars. I mean, the power plant thing. No, you know what? In both of them, they're both equally horrible and stupid and short-sighted. And they don't benefit the public. They benefit, in this case, the executives of the car companies and the people who own coal.
Right.
That's it. That's who this benefits. It doesn't benefit anyone else. No one else. Yep. You're not going to get cheaper power. You're not going to get a cheaper car. And if you think you are, you're an idiot. Okay?
Yeah, it's not going to change that way for sure.
Yeah, let me be really, really clear with you. If you think that these regulations meant that everything was going to go up, guess what? It's going up anyway. So it may as well be something that's not going to poison you and your family.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not even, it is on a colossal error in judgment to move this in this path. Like, it's so wrong on so many levels, and it's been proven. It's not like this is guesswork. Right. You start pumping more emissions into the skies, and like you said, more people are going to die. It's just a fact.
Right. Absolutely.
So why on earth, since we've gotten over it and we've started to move on, would we go back?
Because somebody needed $1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody needed $1. There was an opportunity, and Obama was evil. So Let's talk about something fun. Mark, let's talk about something.
Well, I don't know if it's fun, but Hyundai has recently announced that they are going to put together a shopper assurance program, is what they're calling it.
Yeah.
And what this basically is it's going to make purchasing a Hyundai a lot easier and a lot less of hassle. They want to put in a type of system that there's no haggle, that basically the price is the price. You can order your car through the dealer at the price that's stated, pick your options and colors, and the car will be delivered, and you won't have to go through the hassle of haggling with a salesperson about getting the best price you possibly can at that particular moment in time. With this, obviously, they're looking to, first of all, reduce the haggle and people's hatred of the haggle. Most people hate haggling in a car dealership.
I'm raising my hand right now, but
Russell's been through it a few times. And the other thing they're trying to do is reduce the amount of time that someone has to spend in said car dealership, which I believe Russell has a record on right now.
I don't know that I have a record. In fact, I think it's fairly common. But I mean, the last I went with my son-in-law less than a year ago to buy a Prius for him, we were in the dealership literally from the time they opened, and it took us 7 hours to complete the sale, which is ridiculous. I've had 5-6 hour sales at Chrysler dealerships, at other Toyota dealerships. Trying to think what else. No, the Audi dealership was fast. I'll give them that. I mean, it takes hours and hours to buy a car, and there's no reason for it.
Well, when that's 7 hours, what the hell are you really doing? Like, it's a whole lot of waiting, right?
You're waiting because the dealership's trying to process a whole bunch of people on the same day. We were there on the last day of the month, which, by the way, is the best and worst day to buy a car. Okay.
Right.
Best because the dealership is absolutely desperate to make their quota, and worst because they're trying to run as many cattle through that slaughtering area as they can. So
that's a great description of a car dealership.
No doubt. You're going to be in the veal fattening pen all day long. Okay.
So
the process sucks.
So Hyundai is trying to make the process better. They're saying that the average time that someone spends in a dealership is 5 hours.
Yeah.
So, and that's their number. So they're trying to reduce that to 1 hour and make a huge savings of time, reduce the haggle, and give themselves a better name for it. Now, obviously, with no haggle, the dealership makes it a little bit better, or Hyundai as a manufacturer makes a little bit better. But they're giving back to the consumer by saying, don't spend as much time. Use your phone to start the process. Come into the dealership, pay the same price. Doesn't matter if you're buying online or in the door or through salesman, it's all the same. So you choose what's good for you, start the process, get the car, do your options, and then come sign the final papers. So again, we've seen other dealerships / manufacturers do this. One that comes to mind famously would be Saturn. They had this type of no haggle purchase ability, and they were known for it. So obviously it was well liked, or liked enough to keep it as a business practice until Saturn, I guess, disappeared. But is that part of why they disappeared? I don't believe so. But
no, it was the vehicles.
So again, Hyundai is going to attempt to do this. I didn't see as to when. Was there an indicator as to what type of fast track this is on? I didn't see it.
No, I didn't
Uh,
notice that they said. I thought that it was something that they were rolling out. Okay, I'm sorry. It starts this week in 4 markets: Miami, Orlando, Dallas, and Houston.
okay.
It goes nationwide to participating dealers in 2018. And by participating dealers, there's 835 Hyundai dealerships in the U.S., and they do not all have to participate. But
So it's volunteer.
it's voluntary, but Hyundai expects most dealers will participate.
And just like every other major car dealership network, Hyundai found that 90% of their new car buyers reported some major frustration when it came to buying a car from them. So this is well documented and published by Hyundai. So they know there's an issue, there is a problem, and they're taking these steps to rectify it. So good luck to them. Hopefully, it will allow people to take some of the time back into their lives that's being lost sitting in a car dealership.
Yeah, I mean, and it's frustrating, pointless time. It's not like it's fun, you're one of the few people I know, Mark, that has a good dealership story. Like, you went in, you got it, and everything was taken care of, and that's wonderful. I mean.
So I can't. I've only bought a couple of new cars in my life, and the most recent one, like I said, was maybe half an hour of signing papers, and off I went.
That's insane.
But obviously that's not the norm. But it's been my experience.
And that's good. I mean, if more dealers were like that, people wouldn't want to sit around on their phone and go, okay, I'll do this all, or sit at home and do all this paperwork at home. And I honestly think it's just the dealers do this because it's what they've always done. And once they've got you, the instant that you commit to making that sale is the instant
they press the slow button.
Stop giving a shit about you as a human being. Literally. And that has been my experience with the vast majority of dealers. I would love to be wrong. I would love for that not to be true. But as soon as you say you're going to buy it, then yeah, everybody's going to lunch. Everybody's going to the finance guys on vacation. The warranty person's there. Oh, the prep crew is dead.
Yeah, prep crew died at that moment. Yes.
Come back tomorrow to pick it up, but we need you to pause it before you leave. You know what I mean? It's offensively bad, and it shouldn't.
Lots of fun. Lots of fun.
There's a reason people hate car dealers. I don't have to make that up.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, I want to. I don't have a good segue for this, so I'm just gonna talk about it. I want to show this picture because this is what attracted me to this. Toyota announced that it is making a new version of the famous in Japan. And if you have never heard of this before, don't feel bad. It's okay. Famous in Japan, Toyota Century. This is the Toyota limousine. And it is marvelous. It is everything. Oh, can't do that. So we like it nice and big. Look at this bad boy. Look at this bad boy. That's a Toyota, folks. Wait. Look at the inside. It's like going back to the 50s. Okay. There is nothing modern about that, and I love it.
Are those zero gravity seats?
No. You're thinking of another company, sir. Make no mistake, the Century sells for the U.S. equivalent of $111,000. This is not an inexpensive vehicle. This formerly, by the way, I guess they used to have a fairly legendary V12 engine in it. Is there more? No more pictures. So look at those seats, though. Don't you want to sit in those seats? I do. I do. Curtains. Come on, curtains.
Curtains. When's the last time curtains were put in a production car?
Yeah, exactly.
That wasn't a hearse.
I just love this. So they're taking the V12 out of it that used to be, and they're putting in a 5-liter V8 hybrid system with oddly enough nickel metal hydride batteries. It's like Toyota can't help it. We love nickel metal. You know what I mean? You would think it would have.
We've got warehouses full of them.
Nickel metal hydroid batteries. I'm guessing. I mean, they're not going to make that many of these damn things. But how cool is it that they're making it? I don't know. I think it's cool for some reason. And on the same, I guess, theme is that Toyota's also bringing back a new car, but they're going to update this one a little more. This is the Toyota Crown. This is a concept, so forgive me. I hate concepts.
Are you showing a concept, Russell?
I know it's a concept, but this is the Toyota Crown, which has been the legendary big Toyota sedan in Japan forever. It's a cool car because, you know, again, some of us just, you know, we like cars, whatever. But look at this bad boy. It's not bad looking. I mean, it kind of looks just like a Lexus, right? But it's going to have a Toyota badge. It'll be fun. It'll be cool. They've already taken it to Nürburgring and spun it around the course to make sure that it performs. Why is it so special? Again, just because this goes back to the middle 50s. And it's cool to see. I think it's cool to see Toyota bringing back these cool old cars.
Now, this obviously that concept would be something that would be in the area of, you know, over 100,000 as well, I would assume.
I don't. You know what? That's a really good question because I don't know. In Japan, I was just looking for a price and I don't see it. Yeah, they don't say anything about it. I don't know.
So,
I'm gonna guess,
you know, but this would be the upper edge of the market for Toyota, though, right? Like dollar-wise, right?
Definitely, yeah. This would be the top end of the Toyota market in Japan, without a doubt.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, of course, if you didn't want the Century, if you didn't want the limousine,
right,
you have this, and this is, you know, more of a family car. I mean, this is a luxury car, but it's more of a regular car, whereas a limousine is a limousine, right?
And most likely in Japan, this car would really stand out because of its size.
Absolutely, both of them are insane, right? I mean, we're talking about a nation where the Prius C is probably a mid-sized car, so yeah. Absolutely. This is for somebody who wants to show off.
Yeah. So this is the top line executive that's out looking for a car to, you know, to push their status as well. So
they need a big vehicle for their hookers and blow. Oh. Why did I say that?
Yeah. So it's I don't know. It's I guess, like, would Japan also, they import cars obviously from other manufacturers, and I would think that's like, would Cadillac have any type of a market share in Japan, or would they not really buy those type of cars? Because really, you look at that car and that's like kind of Cadillac looking.
Yeah. You know what? I have to tell you, I'm very ignorant of the Japanese market.
Yeah,
that's something I'm going to have to look at and talk to some people.
I'm sorry to drag you into the weeds, but
no, that's a great question. You know what I mean? Like, so why is, you know, if those cars were coming out in the United States, we would be like, oh, well, gas is cheap and people are buying the biggest damn thing they can buy. Yeah. So of course, this would be a good strategy. Why is this a good strategy in Japan? Well, I mean, I think the Century, just because it's such a limited number vehicle, it's essentially a limited edition vehicle. They only make a few thousand of them. The Crown, I don't really know. It may just be a way for successful Japanese.
Or it may be that bridge, you know, a bridge from, you know, down from, you know, the Century, but you know, you don't have a limo driver, it's yourself, but you still want that limo feel.
Sure. Yeah. You want something that looks distinctive, that has a legendary name, you know. Sure.
Yeah. But they're not bringing them to North America.
I'd love to just ride in a sense.
Well, it would only take a short trip to Japan, and I'm sure you could drive one.
Toyota, are you listening? Because I'd love to go to Japan for a ride in the Century. Okay.
There you go.
Can we work that out?
I'm sure they can.
Okay. The next story is again about a vehicle that I care about, that I like. So let's show you this picture and then we'll talk a little bit about it. Guess what it is? Yes, it's a motorcycle. You poor people watching or listening to the show know that I love two-wheelers, and this is a brand new Italian electric bike. A little bit different. It's not designed for off-road use, or it's not a hyper, like, cafe racer kind of thing. This is a little bit more of a cruiser style bike.
Yes, it is.
It has different foot peg, I think 3 different foot peg positions. It's a really kind of classically styled motorcycle, and it's powered by electrons. Who would have thought? Made in, as I said, in Italy. Now, the problem with this is, and it comes with 3 different power packs. The base power pack is a 7.5 kilowatt hour pack. It's $11,000.
Surprise!
It gives you a range of 50 miles.
50 miles.
50 miles.
That's it. There's no backup on this bike. It's strictly 50 miles.
And then you're stopped and you're in. The top of the line bike, there's a mid-range with a 15 kilowatt hour battery. The top of the line, the 27.5 kilowatt hour battery, gives you a range of 168 miles for $28,000.
Wow.
For $28,000, I can buy 2 Ducatis and I can probably put 15K in the bank.
Yeah, that's a bit on the pricey side, isn't it?
Electric motorcycles are expensive. I get that. The Zero bikes aren't cheap either. But they're cheaper than this. And I'm not sure, other than the styling, what the attraction of this thing is, because it's kind of big and ungainly, and I'm not really sure. I don't, but I like the style, and it's never going to be sold in the U.S. You'll see it in European electric vehicle gatherings, I'm sure. But again, where are the electric bikes?
28K though. That's
yeah,
that is tough to stomach. Really, like I realize that electric motorcycles, are not subsidized by anybody, so you're paying full pop no matter what you get.
Yeah,
there's no federal tax.
Colorado, that's not true.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And where?
In Colorado, you get.
Yes. In Paul's, Colorado, everything is free.
Well, no, but I mean, again, Colorado very aggressively trying to do everything they can to boost EV sales. And I don't know what this would sell for, but I suspect it would be much more reasonable. Would it be entirely reasonable? Probably not. I mean, 168 miles of range isn't that much. And when you look at the hulking big battery pack, you know what I mean? Like, this is a big, it just seems like something's not right. Like it should have better range.
Well, they didn't show you that, for the larger battery pack, it comes with an Italian style trailer with the other battery on it.
It just follows running behind you.
Surely we jest, but it's something that you're right. But it does come with volume, right? So as more and more bikes sell, the prices get a little better. But still, it's very hard to stomach that type of a price unless you're definitely into motorcycles. Like you're a diehard. You will drive it regardless of weather conditions, or you're in an area of the country that allows you to drive it at any point. Because man, for where I am, a bike is a seasonal thing. You're lucky if you can drive it half the year. I just couldn't stomach spending that kind of money on a bike that I only drive half a year.
Yeah. No, I mean, here I am in Southern California, right? I could drive that thing all year round, which is great. But, still that range kind of limits it. And the amount of money, for the amount of money that you get, it's hard. I mean, I consider myself pretty ideologically driven, and it's hard for me to justify spending 30 grand on a bike with 160 miles of range.
No, I couldn't do it. There's no way.
Yeah, I don't know that I could do it either. And this one looks cool, but it doesn't look that damn cool.
Yeah, yeah.
We have a long ways to go in some parts of this. I mean, EV electric cars have come so far and are so amazing now for what you can get, but electric motorcycles.
Yeah, they're playing a catch-up game.
Yeah, that's what it's called, catch-up.
Catch-up game is correct.
Mark, make me feel happy about the world. Make me think that there's.
Well, I can show you something that will make you happy about one part of the world, anyways.
Thank you.
We just recently found out that Canada. I don't know why we would bring up Canada on this show.
Okay.
But Canada has hit the 1% mark of plug-in vehicles as of September 2017. So that you know what that means, folks. That means that we only have 99% to go. So the 1% is the toughest point to get to, but we've made it. So hats off to Canada to actually getting to the 1%, and now we can start moving forward faster. So looking forward to that. And just out of some information in this article, which is a Green Car Reports, and we will show a link in the show. I suggest you go in and read into the details. But the model that I have a Chevy Volt, as some of you probably know. I only mention it every show. But we have the notification that there were 483 sales of the Volt in September. That is the highest amount that's ever been sold in Canada. And you may say 483 cars, like, come on, is that really a lot? Well, considering that the US only sold a little bit over 1,400 Volts in the same time period, Canada's amount is a huge jump based on our population being 10% of what the US is.
Right.
That is a huge jump into the sale of these vehicles in my province and in the country as a whole. So, and to be frank, most of the sales, of course, are coming from the three provinces that offer some sort of incentives. That would be British Columbia, Ontario, and Quebec. Right. Those three make up the vast majority of all sales of EVs because of those incentives that are offered. But it was great to see that they're starting to move forward. We've got to that 1%, which anyone will tell you is a watershed moment, because that amount of sales allows you a little bit more market penetration, where people start to recognize what's going on. They start seeing them more on the roads. They start to ask questions. They start to figure out, why are these things popping up? What's so great about them that people are buying them? What should I know about them? So it starts conversations to go faster, and adoption hopefully follows along that same route. I remember many years ago, people talking about the 1% of solar, of how once it got to 1%, it started to become viable. Businesses started to look at it. Companies wanted to put it on their roofs. And of course, that spurs manufacturing as well, gets lower pricing, gets more volume. So there's a number of great things that happen once you get market adoption.
I'm looking at this thing. Electra Mechanica Solo. I've never even heard of that. They sold one in July. It's a three-wheeler. It's like a Corbin.
Yeah, that one is. I think that's even actually produced.
It's
Solo
made in Vancouver.
In Vancouver, British Columbia. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But again, that's a niche car as well. But it's another part of the puzzle.
Sure, why not? Yeah, I mean, they sold one in July, so whatever.
Yeah.
But this is impressive. The idea that you could sell 30% of the United States amount of volts with 10% of the population. That's a really big win for what we're doing here. I hope things will continue. I hope our policies continue along this route. But
yeah, I even notice it in my town. I notice more and more that I see on the road with green plates. I notice more people when we're at events understanding what the EVs are about. Whereas just a few short years ago, you had to explain everything to people. But now there is more. I have more confidence that people understand what's going on, or they're understanding that this is a type of movement and it makes sense, and these are the benefits, and they seem to know these things before. They had no clue. Everything had to be explained to them as to what's going on. But we had a kind of have a cool figure in our group, is that people try to figure out, well, how much do you really spend on an EV to drive it? And we've come up with a figure of basically it costs $1.61 to drive 100 kilometers, which is 60 miles. So you have that ability to jump in and see that right away that this amount of cars, this charge for the car to drive it is much lower that you can get gasoline for. So like it's basically 1/4 or 1/5 the cost of gasoline, and that figure of driving 100 kilometers or 60 miles for $1.61 worth of electricity really hits home.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a good thing. Well, congratulations to Canada as the U.S. goes backwards in time. Cheers. Cheers to my friends north of the border and to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Any you know, and I say this just because I know you, Mark. Any surprise news stories tonight?
You do know me well, but no, I have no surprise news story for this show.
That was my
if you were watching a couple hours early in the Tesla Life, we had a surprise end of the telecast news story.
Oh, you're very good with the wait. There's one more thing. That's good. That's a good thing. Well, let's wrap this up. I'm gonna, before I give Mark his innings on the shoutouts, I just want to say, as always, thanks to Michael Mannering for our theme music. Visit him at manthing.com. Buy his CDs on iTunes or CD Baby or wherever you buy CDs or music or downloads, whatever. Support him. Also want to shout out to Lee Moon, who one of our viewers who is not feeling well. I hope speedy recovery to you, Lee. I also want to say thank you to all the people that have been on YouTube lately, watching the reviews and commenting and stuff. And I try to get in there. I was in there this afternoon putting responses in there. So thank you very much. If you go to youtube.com/whatdrivesus, subscribe there. You'll get notified when we do the show, when I put up a new review. And you know what? I mean, except for the one idiot with, like, I don't know, some kind of, it looked like a Russian bot, you know what I mean? But like one guy is, "You are clearly dishonest and venal." And I thought, the review wasn't even that bad. I mean, I was like, yeah, okay, that's about right. This guy just like read me. But you know what? If you disagree, fine. You know what? I'm not there just to hear good stuff. Tell me what you don't like. Maybe I'll fix it next time. Maybe we'll just disagree about the vehicle. Could happen.
There you go.
YouTube.com/whatdrivesus. Mark, it back to you, sir.
And follow What Drives Us on Twitter at What Drives Us. It's really strange how that has the same name, but it does.
Like we planned it or something.
Something like that. Yes, yeah, indeed.
I mean, why would we do that?
I don't know. But if you happen to be in the KW area this Saturday at Oktoberfest, which is currently going on here in Kitchener-Waterloo.
Wait. The biggest Oktoberfest outside of Munich. Thank you very much.
Bingo, right there. Give that man a star. Please drop by the Oktoberfest car show, where we will have a bunch of EVs displayed this Saturday in Waterloo. So send us a note if you're in the area. Please drop by and say hello if you're in town.
Absolutely.
And that's it.
Absolutely. Well, if you're in the Kitchener-Waterloo area and you need a Chesterfield, go to Chesterfield. that was all of my KW area shout outs.
All rolled into one. There you go.
Thank you very much. And of course, if you're on Facebook, you know, if you just happen to participate in that wacky social media thing, facebook.com, /What Drives Us.
How does that
like
happen?
us, friend us there, share the page. But I do want to plead with you one more time. Please go and check out the reviews on YouTube, subscribe, share them with your friends, please. Please, maybe share them on Facebook even. Even if you just want to do it to make fun of me, I'm fine with that. Okay. So that's facebook.com/What Drives Us or youtube.com/What Drives Us. I think that's all I got, Mark. I'm trying to think what else.
I will tell everybody that there is a special episode that Russell just put up called Water the Flowers. I suggest you go find out what that is about.
Well, should we tell them what review it is?
It is about the Toyota Mirai.
At the end of the Mirai video.
And at the end of the Mirai video, there's a surprise event.
Yeah.
And Russell performs a stunt.
Stunt.
Yes. that I couldn't believe he did, but there it was on camera. So please check it out. It's
there it is. Yeah. The Mirai. I love that. And the Mazda reviews going crazy all of a sudden too. If you want to see my fat butt in the brand new Mazda RF, which is amazing, the Mazda Miata RF, I should say. Yeah, check it out. It's all there. Thanks very much, Mark. Thank you, sir. As always,
you're welcome.
We're the new dynamic duo, bringing it home every week for What Drives Us. Thanks to all of you for watching and listening. Find out. Let's see. I'm going to get closer here. Download us next week and find out what drives us. Was that dramatic enough?
A little, yes.
A little.